talk to people who have special needs and challenges or people who are different than them, because if not, that's kind of a scary thing, because at some point Robert's going to retire, because you can't work forever. I mean, you can, but I don't know if you want to. But
I don't know if they'll let me.
But at some point, you know, someone younger than yourself, I mean, you aren't old necessarily, but someone who isn't you will be running the company, and you know, hopefully they will want to do all of the great things that you've done with charity, with Bobby Dawn Institute, and all the other things that I've read about on your nice little website. I love your website. It was so much fun going through it and reading your questions. You just got to update it though, but you'll get that done. So.
You and my daughter, thank you.
I mean, you still keep it up though. Like, you could just say, nope, I'm shutting it down. So, I mean, even though you haven't updated it, I still think giving people the chance to really learn about you beyond your fancy bio that's 7 places on the internet that's just confusing. Like, learning about you as an actual person is a good thing, because you know your bio says you've done all these things with insurance and all these stocks and sales that you've done, and after 4 sentences that just gets confusing, and you're like, oh, he's really good at sales and lots of fancy things that a large portion of this country doesn't understand how to do. So I think, you know, having your bio where you talk about your family and your charity work is a good thing, because you know it shows what you do that people can understand, and the part that they don't understand, that's okay, they just don't understand it. You know, kind of like you guys might not understand how my phone.
Well, they wouldn't pay us big fees if we completely explained it to them.
or other things like that. So, but you know, that was something that was hard for me about the softball program yesterday. Just, you know, the players not really wanting to interact with me, which made me kind of sad. There was loads of them, so I thought that would happen a little, but not on the large, massive scale that it did. So I think, you know, that's something that I hope going forward. And I've spoke to a lot of high school groups, and sometimes they're really good with talking to me, and sometimes they're just scared and they don't want to speak to me at all. So you've heard me talk a lot, so now I think it's time to play a game. I'd like to have 2 of you come up here. Robert, do you want to play in the game, or do you want to?
I'm going to observe. I think I've played enough so far.
All right, can 2 of you guys come up here, please?
CJ?
What?
There we go, CJ.
Okay.
CJ and TJ.
CJ.
Yeah, CJ and TJ.
CJ.
Which CJ?
Who wants the hard job? Who wants the easy job?
I'd like the easy job.
All right, so you're gonna go walk somewhere in this room and give me a sentence, and then I'm gonna come find you with my cane, and then CJ's gonna have to do it. But you gotta be really careful, CJ, because I got chairs in here and probably feet in the way and stuff like that, and I don't want you to fall, because you're really tall and you could really hurt yourself, because there's a lot of people in here and not much room in the middle. So, all right, I'm ready, TJ, for my sentence, and my eyes are closed because they're always closed, CJ. But you actually have to close yours because you're the open. So
I have to close mine.
yeah, so it would kind of ruin the game if you kept them open. So, but you can open now, but you gotta watch me. So, TJ, I'm ready
I'm a
for
big
this.
baseball fan.
Great, I got a simple sentence, not a compound sentence. I hate it when they do that. Can I have another sentence? I'm good.
Just keep it.
Alright, so now go hide somewhere new. You can just stand right here, TJ, but TJ's going to hide somewhere new. And then, when you're ready for your sentence, you can tell him if he's hidden, he will give it to you. If he's not, he'll just throw it.
Oh, I give him a
No.
sentence?
Tell him when you're ready, like when you composed yourself, to go find him, and then he will give you the sentence if he's hidden himself.
I'm ready.
I hope you had a great time at the event yesterday.
Now I try to find it.
Yep.
Son of a monkey.
If you want a second sentence, you can.
Yeah,
Because
no
I wasn't
problem.
so good at mine, so you can have another one if you want it.
Here's a second sentence for you. Okay.
Very good, Siege.
You guys want to trade, or are you okay?
Either one.
I'm good.
Okay. I guess I should have said you were training.
There weren't many easy hiding spots there.
Yeah.
It was getting tougher.
This room was kind of boring. It's too just roomish. There's no interesting hiding spots in there.
Too
So,
roomish.
So was that hard, CJ?
A little
What did
bit, yeah.
What did it teach you about your life or about what you're doing now with your college classes that you might use about overcoming obstacles, or you thought it was going to be easy, and then as you started, what did you learn?
Not to take things for granted.
So when you had your first sentence, did you think you could find them right away, or did you think you'd take a second one, or?
I definitely had to have a second one.
Yeah. Because you kind of waited for a second after you got the sentence. I started talking as soon as he gave me my sentence. You kind of stood there, so I think that made it, a slightly harder for you because you couldn't track where he was as he was still talking. So you had to, pay attention to that as you were getting ready to go on your journey to find him. So I think, thinking about this, whether you have children or not who have special needs, probably everyone in here knows someone who has special needs or challenges. So I think, helping that person do whatever it is that makes them happy, whether it's helping them find a great job or taking them out to play on the field with sports teams or whatever, that's really important, because it isn't very much fun being blind and having to use a cane every day. But when I'm able to do my playing on the field programs with the Bees in New Britain and get to go out and hit with the hitting coach Chuck Stewart, or throw some baseballs around on the field with the managers and the players, it really lets me forget for a few moments that I have to have a cane every day, and that I still haven't actually had an actual job interview, and I just randomly email people to get my work, which is stressful. And I just get to enjoy being out there playing on a baseball field and running around and being like the actual players in the Bees League who are trying to get back into Major League and minor league baseball. And I really enjoy that, so I know how much it can really mean to someone else to have that opportunity. So I think, don't ever take things in your life for granted, because at some point those things could be taken away from you. Some of the hardest things that I've had to do are speaking with parents of children who, either from illness or a car accident or things like that, they became blind or paralyzed in a wheelchair or have other challenges put upon them. Because it's a lot harder whenever you become blind when you're, say, 30 or 40 years old, because you've had 30 or 40 years of being able to see the colors of the world and not have people stare at you, and then you become blind and now you have to read Braille and you have to learn how to use a cane and everything, and you don't really want to do that because you're scared that everyone's going to think of you differently, and you're frustrated that the world has now been taken away from you. But if you learn the things that the instructors try to show you, the world can be brought back to you, and we had a lot of that at my blind training program in Chicago. So I worked teaching the people who became blind partway through their life how to learn how to read Braille, and the hardest part wasn't really training their fingers, it was really training their minds to realize that this can open the world back up to them. So that's something that can be really hard for people. So I think anytime you can help someone with that, and just because someone who's in a wheelchair or blind, or someone else who has a special need, if you ask them if they need help or if they know where they're going and they get mad at you, don't ever not ask the next person, because the next person might really need your help. Just because someone didn't want your help, or maybe they're upset because they just became blind 6 months ago and they don't like everyone asking them for help, doesn't mean that you should not ask the next person, because he or she might really need your help. There was a time whenever I was in graduate school, I don't really wear gloves in the winter because I have to feel where I'm going with my cane. I guess I could wear a glove on my right hand because I don't really use it for anything, but I never do, I guess. So I got lost in the snow at graduate school in Macomb, Illinois. It was 5 degrees below zero. No gloves on, my hands were freezing. I've been out there for 8 minutes. I was asking people if they could help me. My hands were so cold it was starting to feel like they were getting frostbite. I never felt frostbite before I just read about it. So one of the groups I spoke to, one of the Greek chapters, there was a girl who came up and she's like, "Oh, I saw your speech 2 weeks ago. Are you lost?" I'm like, "Yeah, can you get me to Brophy Hall so I can go to my class?" And she walked me over there. So sometimes something like that, speaking to a group or doing something with a team, can then lead to something else. But also, for all the people who didn't want to help me, if my hands had gotten frozen, I wouldn't be able to read Braille or do my phone or type on the computer or anything else. So that was really a a stressful moment for me, but thankfully, one of the girls whose Greek chapter I spoke to came along and helped me out. So I've been really fortunate in my life to be able to do things that I've wanted to do, and Anthony Acavone gave me the opportunity to run the nonprofit for the programs that I've dreamed about doing based on what I've been able to do, or fortunate enough to do in college with sitting on the basketball bench and commentating games and giving those opportunities to other people. That's something that I'm really thankful about every day, and something that I don't take for granted. I always try to bring the best events to people, even if it's something I don't really want to do, like iFly. I'll still go and try to be as happy as I can, or if I know it's something that I just can't be happy at, I'll find someone who going to that event is the best thing for them that day, and they're really excited about that, because that's really what you need at the events, and that's really the type of people that you want in your life. So Robert, your son, have been really great the past couple of days, having you at the event, helping me get people for the event yesterday, because it was really stressful for 3 months trying to find people, and I wasn't for sure that I was going to get people for the event, and Triple Crown Sports had it on their website. So I was so desperate that I, emailed you because you were on the board of Bobby Dodd Institute. I didn't know what else to do because I wasn't getting people. So, both of y'all really helped me out a lot, and I'm really grateful and, thankful we can be friends now and friends on into the future, any other time that I come back to Georgia. So hopefully you guys can look at my nonprofit website. It's www.beautifullives.org. If you want to set up events wherever, if you got family across the country, just they can email or call me. I can give you my number at some point, or my email's on the website, my number may be there as well, I'm not sure. If you want to donate items, cash, checks, whatever, if not, whatever makes you happy, and whatever way you want to help, whether it's going out and helping someone on the street who might be blind, or someone in your area of the state who you haven't really spoken with who have special needs. That's just as great as giving money or giving signed items for a raffle, because you are helping people out, and helping people out in whatever way you feel most comfortable is the most important thing, I would say. So whatever questions you guys want to ask me about anything, or something I didn't cover in the speech, would be quite all right. So I'll stand here and take whatever questions you might have about anything I've talked about or anything I didn't talk about.
Bryce, it's Ann. I've got a question. So when you're practicing shooting the hoops,
Yeah.
how are you doing that through a sound? You know how far you are. So explain that.
So when I shoot baskets, I have someone stand under the basket and clap, like under the net, and I'm really good at shooting free throws because I've shot thousands over 10 years of doing this. I'm not so great about shooting three-pointers because I'm kind of scared to jump off the floor, because it just scares me when I'm up in the air. But I'm okay at shooting three-pointers, but I am really good at shooting free throws with someone standing underneath the basket, and then I can hear the ball bounce off the rim, and if the rim is tighter or loose, I can tell that. And then if I shoot the ball to the right or the left, I can also tell that for the most part. So I'm a lot better at free throws than at three-pointers.
And so you don't have an issue with the height. It's a
No.
standard height.
Yeah, well, sometimes it can be, if it's a standard 10 feet, 6-inch basket that is used throughout the NBA and college basketball, well, the NBA is 11 feet. I haven't shot on one of those. But if it's the standard high school college basket, which is the same, I'm fine. If it's the NBA basket, I have a little more trouble. And if it's one for, younger children, I probably wouldn't shoot on it. And hopefully they'd have, a men's basketball to shoot with, because women's basketballs weigh about a pound less, and it makes a big difference when I don't shoot with those all day. So when I speak to a women's team, I try to bring a men's basketball with me, but if I forget and I have to shoot with a women's basketball, it takes me a long time to make a free throw because it's so much lighter, and I'm used to the heavier weight of shooting a ball that weighs more.
That's interesting. Those are several things that I didn't even know. I didn't know men and women's basketballs were a different weight. And I thought
ball is a lot smaller. You can fit 2.5 women's balls through a basket at once if you ever wanted to do that for some reason. And a men's ball, you can only fit 1.5 through the basket at the same time.
I didn't know the goals were different heights. I
Yeah.
thought there was junior, and then I thought it was 10 foot. I know it was 11. Is that a recent event?
No, He's been like that for at least 10 years in the NBA.
Wow.
I don't know when it started. I can look it up tomorrow when I'm not busy. I'm not, you know, I'm busy though.